What's up, everyone? As you guys know, I just got the iPhone 8 in the house, so I had to go and do a lot of comparisons with it. And I know a lot of you guys have the iPhone 6, so I figured, might as well do the iPhone 8 versus the iPhone 6 and see how they hold up. But also, a lot of things changed since the beginning of this year. We've seen new iPhones, we've also seen a new iOS version that both these phones support. And I'll be completely honest, this is kind of a weird comparison. You guys are already going to comment like, okay, why are you even comparing these two? Well, I just want to see how far the innovation has went. Now, I'm not saying the iPhone 6 is faster at all. I'm not saying the iPhone 6 is better. If you have to choose one, obviously choose the iPhone 8. It's a much better phone overall, but it's still fun to see how these things compare. Now, the iPhone 6 came out in 2014 in September. The iPhone 8 came out in September of 2017, literally just last year. So the iPhone 8 is about a little bit over a year old. The iPhone 6 is about a little bit over 4 years old. And it's kind of weird though, because looking at the front, you could probably not even tell the difference between these two if you were just looking at them. If you felt them, you would easily be able to tell. The iPhone 8 feels way more premium. It has a glass back, and I feel like it just feels even just like better than the iPhone 6. But the iPhone 6 also doesn't look that bad. They both are the same. They both have 4.7-inch screens, 750p. The iPhone 8 is apparently a little bit brighter in the screen area, but I don't really notice too much of a difference, honestly. You also do have a True Tone display on the iPhone 8, which is pretty nice, but I really wish we saw more innovation between these two in terms of the way they look at this time. I know we have the iPhone 10 and all that stuff, but I feel like they should have done something different within these 4 years between the iPhone 8 and iPhone 6 being released. But it's not like we can go back in time and fix it. But the biggest difference I would say in terms of both of them is that yes, the iPhone 6 is much cheaper, but looking at the longevity of it, it's weird. The iPhone 8 will last you longer, but the iPhone 8 is kind of restricted in ways that I don't really like. If you break something on the iPhone 6, you can easily replace it. If you break the screen, the home button, whatever, you can fix it, swap it out. Motherboards for this thing are super cheap too if you randomly fry your phone out. Whereas on the iPhone 8, because it was just released a year ago, parts are still expensive, but the home buttons are different. The iPhone 6 has Touch ID 1, but it's an actual button, it clicks in. Whereas on the iPhone 8, it's actually a vibration motor where it doesn't click in. And a lot of that has a lot to do with not only hardware, but software as well. So what happened was that on the older phones like the iPhone 6, they didn't tie the home button to the screen, they tied the home button to the motherboard. So if you replace the screen, it didn't matter, you can still use the home button and everything just fine, Touch ID too. But on the iPhone 8, if you replace the screen, you have to go to the Apple Store to fix it. You cannot go and try to fix it yourself. If you do, you'll actually end up breaking the home button and the vibration motor, so the home button will not work, Touch ID will not work, so you'll have to use assistive touch. And that's pretty much what happened with my iPhone 7, which really sucks because you have to go into the Apple Store and pay whatever $150 to fix it, which I might end up doing later, but it's still kind of annoying. Now, if you look at my iPhone 8, another annoying thing with the glass back is that really it's just one more way to break it, and the iPhone 8's back is broken on mine. I might replace it, I might just put a skin over it or something, but it's still kind of an annoying thing. I wish it wasn't the case, but you can't really do anything about it anymore. So yeah, in terms of both, the iPhone 8 feels way more premium, but it comes at a cost of being a little bit more restricted in terms of fixing it yourself. But if you don't, you shouldn't really plan on breaking your phone. So just put a case on and screen protector, you'll be good. Another huge difference between hardware is that the iPhone 8 does have Force Touch on the screen where the iPhone 6 does not. That's pretty much just hardware based. Now, another huge thing is software. So the iPhone 6, when it was released, it started off getting iOS 8. Right now it is getting iOS 12, and I'm almost 99% positive it's not going to go any further. It's going to stop at iOS 12. A lot of people said, oh, the iPhone 5S still getting iOS 12, but because the iPhone 6 and 5S are very similar in terms of specs and performance, I could definitely see the iPhone 6 right now stopping at iOS 12. Whereas on the iPhone 8, it pretty much just started on software versions, so it started off on iOS 11, now it's getting iOS 12, and it's just going to keep going for 3-4 more years now. So in terms of futurability of it and everything, the iPhone 8 will definitely 100% last you longer, there's no question about it. Even if the iPhone 6 goes one more year longer, which I know it won't, it's still not going to last as long as the iPhone 8. Now, kind of going further and kind of tying those things in, what good is software if the hardware isn't good? And that's kind of the definition of the iPhone 6. The software is okay. It's iOS, it's supposed to be really good, but the hardware just wasn't really there, even in the iPhone 6 time. So it had the Apple A8 chip, a dual-core CPU, and 1 GB of RAM. And I feel like they really should have just put 2 GB of RAM in this thing. We saw the iPhone 6S really up the RAM, and that had a humongous impact on how fast the phone is. And even going with the iPhone 8, it had the Apple A11 Bionic chip, a hexa-core CPU, and 2 GB of RAM. And it had twice the amount of RAM, and I think that's what really aided in speeding it up. We saw the iPhone 6S, like I already stated. That thing brought an extra gigabyte of RAM, and it really sped the phone up. So I feel like the iPhone 6 to the success was a humongous upgrade. And in terms of performance, I mean, the iPhone 8 is just going to blow it out of the water. Now I'm doing a speed comparison in like 25 seconds, but I'll tell you right now, I would be surprised if the iPhone 6 is faster in any case. I haven't run the speed test yet, so I'm going to do it after, but I'll definitely tell you that the iPhone 8 is going to be faster, and it should be just because the specs on paper. I mean, it's definitely faster. I don't even care. I mean, they both have pretty much the same screen, the same everything, so there's not going to be too much of a difference there. But with that being said, let's go ahead and run the speed comparison. Alright, so I have pretty much the same apps on both of these again. Let's go ahead and make sure everything's cleared in the background. So let's go ahead and do it. iPhone 8 on the right side, iPhone 6 on the left side. Camera, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone 8 was faster there. Let's do photos, 3, 2, 1. Oh, iPhone 8 was way faster. Calendar, 3, 2, 1. Alright, way faster was a little bit of over-exaggeration. iPhone 8 was faster there too. Let's do mail, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 was faster there as well. Let's do maps, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, iPhone 8 is way faster, just like opens, and it takes forever on the iPhone 6. Let's do clock, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 is way faster. Let's do weather, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 is again faster than the iPhone 6. Let's do stocks, 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 is again way faster. And I think it has a lot to do with the RAM, honestly, and I talked a lot about it. Let's go ahead and do news, 3, 2, 1. And if you guys remember the video I did yesterday about the iPhone 6S, you would see that the iPhone 6S was not even that much slower than the iPhone 8. But now you can see that the iPhone 6 is much slower, noticeably slower than the iPhone 8, which is pretty insane. Like, it just takes so long. And I'm telling you guys, it has everything to do with that 1 gigabyte of RAM. And you can see it's just taking so long on the iPhone 6. There we go. Okay, so I went ahead and updated both apps on both phones, so now they're all good. Let's go ahead and do Ibooks, 3, 2, 1. And again, the iPhone 8 is faster, and you can see it's so slow on the iPhone 6, and it honestly should have never been this slow. It's just like unbearable. It's like way more than it should be, honestly. Let's do the Watch app, 3, 2, 1. And this is why I don't think the iPhone 6 is getting iOS 13, just because of the speed. Like, it really doesn't make much sense for it to get it. Let's go ahead and do temporal. Let's go ahead and do like Facebook, 3, 2, 1. And it should be, faster on the iPhone 8 again. It just takes so long on here. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be faster on the iPhone. Yeah, faster on the iPhone 8 again. I just hit the camera, my bad. And it's just going to continue to be faster on the iPhone 8. It'll do Snapchat as well. And it doesn't even take that. Yeah, you can see it's unbelievable how slow the iPhone 6 is. And I think it's going to be fast. Yeah, no doubt. I don't think the iPhone 6 was faster at all. At least on the last test, the iPhone 6S, it was faster sometimes. You know, this one is just like faster none of the time. Let's do tempo run, 3, 2, 1. I'm pretty sure, iPhone 8. It's going to take a long time on the iPhone 6, I already know it. And on top of that, it's not going to be as smooth on the iPhone 6 either. You can see we're already ready to play the game on here, whereas this one is still like loading, that it's just barely even past the boot up screen, which is insane. And look how choppy it is. It's not even that clean, which is insane. And you can see the iPhone 8 obviously won this one like crazy. Let's go ahead and do Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. This one's going to take a year to do. Once this one loads, should I just keep it going, or I'll just keep it going, whatever. It's just going to take so long, I already know it. I'd be surprised if the iPhone 6 is even like 20 seconds behind the iPhone 6 or the iPhone 8. You can see we're already on the loading screen. This one's already loaded, okay? Once this one gets into any screen, whether it's the car or the other thing, that means it's loaded. You can see this one's still on the other screen. It's going to get in that Real Racing 3 screen in like 20. Okay, now we're there. It's going to be like another 45 minutes before we get into the actual freaking game. There we go. Now we're in it. So you can see the major difference. And again, you have to remember that the iPhone 6 is not going to play as smooth as the iPhone 8. I'll go ahead and show you guys a multi-core score as well. I'm pretty sure this one's at like 70-something thousand. And this one's at, so 78,009. This one's at 206,014. Obviously a humongous difference here. The iPhone 8 definitely is 100% faster than the iPhone 6. And this is a pretty decent speed comparison. This is what we should be seeing. If you remember yesterday, the iPhone 6S was sometimes faster than the iPhone 8. But the iPhone 6S wasn't as slow as the iPhone 6, 100%. The iPhone 6S was definitely respectable. If you remember that other video I did not too long ago, the iPhone 6S Plus versus the iPhone 8 Plus, the iPhone 8 Plus was actually sometimes a majority of the time slower than the iPhone 6S Plus, which was pretty crazy. So overall, you can see that the difference in speed between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 8 is pretty large, and that in and of itself is probably a good reason to update, but you guys can finish off the video and figure out your decision from there. That was the craziest speed comparison I've ever seen, guys. Now, switching to the cameras are very different on both of them. There's an 8 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 6 and a 12 megapixel sensor on the iPhone 8. In terms of both, I mean, the iPhone 8 definitely wins here. It's kind of weird though, because in terms of software, they're pretty much the same. The iPhone 8 doesn't have portrait mode or anything like that, and neither does the iPhone 6. But the iPhone 8's camera does have optical image stabilization, which makes the photo look a little bit less shaky and videos look less shaky as well. Now, in terms of the video resolutions, you can only shoot 1080p videos on the iPhone 6 up to 60 frames per second, whereas on the iPhone 8, you can shoot 4K videos at 60 frames per second and 1080p videos at up to 240 frames per second. So quite a bit of difference there, even just in terms of the video resolutions. And I'll tell you, the iPhone 8's camera is much, much better. Now, if you're outside and you're taking good lighting photos and everything like that, you'll probably find that the photos are the same or whatever, but if you take them to a computer and you look at the backgrounds and everything, you'll notice that the iPhone 8 does a lot more sharpening. It takes a lot more, like, it adds blur effects to the photos. It doesn't add effects, it's just part of the camera, the hardware. Whereas on the iPhone 6, I mean, you're messing with like a 4-year-old sensor at this point. So the iPhone 8 definitely wins in terms of the camera quality, hands down. Now, the weirdest thing ever is that the iPhone 6 has a 1.2 megapixel camera up front, where the iPhone 8 has a 7 megapixel camera up front. And obviously, like I said, the iPhone 8 is definitely going to win here. And it should, just because it's a newer version of the same phone. So definitely 100% the iPhone 8 wins here. And it's cool because the iPhone 8 can shoot 1080p videos at the front camera, where the iPhone 6 only shot 720p videos. So the iPhone 8 definitely wins here in terms of the camera. Now, kind of continuing on with the battery life, I find it kind of weird because phone manufacturers, they increase the performance, they increase the camera quality, they increase all these things, but they very rarely increase battery life overall. Sometimes they increase it, sometimes they decrease it. I mean, imagine if we had like a phone that just decreased the camera quality or decreased the performance or whatever. Like, we would be an outrage. It would be the weirdest thing ever. But with battery, like the battery life overall, I mean, like, people don't even bat an eye to it. Like, it's the same thing with the iPhone 6. I feel like the iPhone 6, if the battery was on 100%, would probably last longer than the iPhone 8. And it has a lot to do with the battery size. I mean, they're both only like 11 milliamp hours difference. The iPhone 6 had a 1,810 milliamp hour battery. The iPhone 8 had a 1,821 milliamp hour battery. So literally only like an 11 milliamp hour difference. I will definitely say, because the iPhone 6 is underpowered and it doesn't have as bright as a screen and no force touch and all that stuff, I think the iPhone 6 lasts longer than the iPhone 8 if both batteries were at 100%. Now, with that being said, the iPhone 8 does have a pretty big advantage because it does have Qi wireless charging, so you can easily just put your phone on a wireless charger and be good and be set. So I'll definitely say that in terms of that, the iPhone 8 does have the advantage here in terms of battery and the functionality of the phone, but I would say that the iPhone 6 would technically last longer than the iPhone 8 in my opinion. Now, some other notable things to note, like I said, the iPhone 8's home button is actually a vibration motor, and it's Touch ID too, so it's technically better than the iPhone 6's. The iPhone 6 does have a headphone jack, where the iPhone 8 does not. I honestly don't care anymore, but it's just like one more thing to note. And like I said, the iPhone 8 has wireless charging, much better cameras, and, you know, a better speaker system also. Like, the front-facing earpiece is a speaker, so that's pretty cool. And it does actually add a little layer of effect to your media, so I like it a lot. So obviously, if you couldn't tell, definitely get the iPhone 8. I mean, there's really not too much to hate on it. It's a very safe phone. It's kind of more of the same. The iPhone 6, I mean, if you need a phone for like a week or month, then definitely, I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to get it. But I definitely say the iPhone 8 is a much better option, obviously. And if you can tell from the speed test, I haven't even seen it yet, but you'll be able to tell that the iPhone 8 probably beat it, hopefully. So I'll definitely say in terms of that, the iPhone 6 had a place in time. I think it had a pretty decent impact. It was the most sold iPhone ever and like the third most best-selling phone ever. But the iPhone 8 definitely wins here in terms of just all around a better phone. Now, if you want to pick up an iPhone 8, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can get it. I always try to find the lowest prices and link them down below so you guys can get them. And when you get them through that link, it actually helps support the channel as well. So definitely, I would recommend you guys getting it. And if you ever need to buy anything, whether it's like anything on Amazon, definitely purchase it through that link, because you help out the channel. We can do things like giveaways and more videos like this and get even more expensive phones. So I'd really appreciate that. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. I do a lot more iOS comparisons and iOS speed tests, and I used to do battery tests, but I'm going to start doing those again. I totally have not done those in a while, but I'd really appreciate if you guys could check out that channel as well, link down below. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.